is a population of women specifically,
Yes.
over age 40,
Yes.
right, that truly have done every diet on the planet.
Right.
They've restricted themselves calorically for literally decades now.
Yep.
Right? They lose weight initially. Every time they gain weight back plus some.
Right.
Jack up their gut health.
Right.
Jack up their metabolism, and come to me finally, and they're like, I absolutely cannot lose weight. And I'll have them food log for me, and there will be as low as like 700 calories a day. So that right there for me, obviously I didn't have the medical or scientific background in it, but I'm like, I'm just telling you in practice, people are eating 700 calories and they're getting fatter.
Right.
Like we're talking women with body fats upwards of like 48%.
Right.
It's Evie here. Welcome to EML Radio, where we are always talking truth. All of those things you need to hear that nobody else is willing to say.
I'm here with Dr. TJ Williams, functional medicine doctor, great friend of mine, and just tell everybody like 2 seconds a little bit about you.
I'm a functional medicine practitioner, like Evie said. Practice in St. Louis, Missouri. Help people basically all over the world. We have a lot of people that come to us, so that's what we do.
Anymore, most people know what functional medicine means, but can you just kind of define it a little?
Yeah, sure. So
more
the
specifically?
easiest way to explain what functional medicine is just to give an example. And so imagine you have high blood pressure and you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a medication to lower your blood pressure. That's conventional medicine. Functional medicine says, okay, you have high blood pressure. What's actually causing the blood pressure to be high? Let's fix that.
Got it.
It's a root cause issue, fixing the root rather than just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Love it. Okay.
Okay.
So my main topic today is getting rid of the bullshit idea that calories in, calories out is the most important factor when it comes to not just weight loss, but overall health.
Yeah.
Okay? You had recorded a video, I think it was on like your Instagram story, and I was like, oh man, you and I got to talk about this.
Sure.
Because the way you explained it was so eloquent, stuff I've been teaching my clients for over a decade.
Yeah.
Right? But people just have a really hard time wrapping their mind around that.
Right. Well, I mean, when you can tell the same lie 1,000 times, it doesn't get any more true, right? But the problem is people start to believe it. If you tell them enough, they begin to believe that that's what it is. Because if you think about the calories in, calories out model, it seems to make sense. It makes logical sense that if I'm trying to lose weight, and weight is measured in calories we burn. So if we consume 1,000 calories and burn 2,000 calories, we've created this net caloric loss. So we've created this deficit that you should lose weight. There is a huge fundamental flaw in this idea. And the fundamental flaw is that their thinking is that all calories burn the same in the human body. It's not true. It's not true. If that were true, someone could go eat 1,000 or 2,000 calories a day of strictly sugar, literally 2,000 calories of table sugar,
Right.
burn 2,100 calories by running or walking or doing exercise and lose weight. That's not happening.
No, that's not going to happen. Well, and I'll tell you, in my coaching practice, I can't tell you over, 10, 12 years of working with a big population, we'll talk about this demographic specifically right now, is a population of women specifically,
Yes.
over age 40,
Yes.
right, that truly have done every diet on the planet.
Right.
They've restricted themselves calorically for literally decades now.
Yep.
Right? They lose weight initially. Every time they gain weight back plus some.
Right.
Jack up their gut health.
Right.
Jack up their metabolism, and come to me finally, and they're like, I absolutely cannot lose weight. And I'll have them food log for me, and there will be as low as like 700 calories a day. So that right there for me, obviously I didn't have the medical or scientific background in it, but I'm like, I'm just telling you in practice, people are eating 700 calories and they're getting fatter.
Right.
Like we're talking women with body fats upwards of like 48%.
Right. Well, and if you take that example and you think about the evolution of humans, I mean, we've been around for a while, right? We're very good at surviving lean times.
Right.
The human body is very good at making it through not eating. We're very good at starving. The body gets into this mode of starvation where I don't really consume very many calories, and in this starvation mode, if you get yourself down to 700 calories, your body is going to start storing every single calorie it can, and you will start to gain weight.
Right.
It happens. This is
store those.
You're gonna
in
store
this
those
form of fat.
exactly for later,
Got it.
and then by starving someone, if we really want to get into the physiology of it, by starving them, they're not getting enough protein, so they're not getting enough carnitine, and without enough carnitine, they can't actually carry this fat that they're storing into the cells and to get it to the mitochondria where the cells can actually burn that fat as fuel. So it's just sitting there building up. All the while, their carnitine levels are going down and they're just tipping themselves over to this sugar burning mode. And so then they start this insulin spike.
Yep.
It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Then their blood sugar's up and down and up and down. And then their weight just constantly goes up. That's it.
And when I had discussions with these people, the outward symptoms for them, other than obviously just really high body fat, is I'm really tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I can't quite figure out what's wrong. Like nothing should be wrong in my life, but I really just can't find any happiness or content.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have a really hard time sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And
Obviously, which all leads into lack of confidence.
Right.
They shut down parts of their social life.
Right.
They don't feel comfortable in their clothes.
Right.
Like it's not all about aesthetics,
They-
but all of us want to be able to walk in a room and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that when
Right.
you've got that going on.
No, and then you'll even those that are married or in long committed relationships, they'll start to withdraw from their partner.
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
then there starts to get some resentment happening, and then it becomes this whole emotion. I'm not an emotional expert by any means, but it becomes this whole emotional thing, and then they just vacillate in this wheel, and it's just this downward spiral.
I forgot that one major lack of sex drive.
Yeah.
Where I can't tell you just one-on-one how many discussions, and I'm obviously not someone's psychologist, but that always comes up.
Yes.
Is well, how's your sex drive? It's well, sex drive, I don't have that. I
Right.
can't even imagine. I'm almost menopausal, or I'm perimenopausal, or I'm postmenopausal. I'm never gonna want to have sex again. I'm you realize that that's actually bullshit.
Right.
You've been told that you shouldn't have an active, healthy sex drive as you age.
Right.
It's crap.
It's
right?
crap. It's only crap because your hormones are just going on a steady decline. As your weight's going up, your testosterone is going down. As you increase body fat, you increase estrogen load, and then you start storing those phytoestrogens and things in the system.
So let's go on that. I'm glad that you brought that up. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit deeper about estrogen dominance.
Yep.
Right? From being overly fat.
Right. So
and the consequences of that.
Yeah. So and for most people, they're only estrogen dominant because they're lacking testosterone. It's not like we have the right level of testosterone and we just have all this extra estrogen. So if we've got, get this so we can see. So if we've got an estrogen level that's here and a testosterone level in women that's, a little lower, but whatever. Well, the estrogen levels don't have to go up to create estrogen dominance. The testosterone just has to fall.
Got it. Oh.
That's a huge thing.
Got it.
And the unfortunate thing is we've got this misinformation out there that you can't do hormone replacement therapy because that causes cancer. Unfortunately, it's just not true. One of my heroes out there, Dr. Morgan Taylor, he's a brilliant, brilliant guy. He is a hormone expert, and I read everything this guy has ever put out, and I go back and reread this stuff. I mean, he's sitting here talking about, men and women have to have higher levels of testosterone. It's a survivability thing.
Yep.
The higher your testosterone is, the more you thrive, the better you feel, the clearer your brain is, the more likely you are to survive an attack, whether that's a blow to the immune system by a sickness, or the whole family goes down, or if it's a cardiovascular thing. Testosterone is actually cardioprotective. It helps protect the brain. It increases bone density. It increases the breast tissue health, which is huge for all you. You basically ran through those things at the very beginning of
Right.
this is what my people's problems are.
Exactly.
And their testosterone is in the tank. I mean, I have women that we see, they have single-digit testosterone levels.
Yeah. Oh, and I've been one of them, right? So little background, like when I was in the thick of my CrossFit training, right? Competitive levels, like internationally competitive levels, training upwards of 5 hours a day, right? When I first got into that, because I was such a paleo believer, right? I was in that kind of really dogmatic way of thinking
Sure.
about nutrition, right? Where you only can eat a strict paleo diet.
Right.
Well, couple that, so I have 0 carbohydrates coming in, rather, right? And my sweet potato was like the highest carb load I would get, right?
Right.
And then I'm trying to train for 5 hours a day.
Right.
So I completely hormonally destroyed myself. Like,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, like, my hair was falling out. I've struggled over the years, like, probably 15, 20 years of people trying to figure out my thyroid issues.
Right.
Long story short, fix my diet, right? At that training level, obviously I'm expending a lot of energy, right?
Yep.
I need carbohydrates for it. Fix that, got on a little testosterone replacement for a short period of time, was able to kind of wean myself off of that great diet, and boom, 100% better.
Right.
But 7 years of that kind of training really wreaked its havoc on my system.
Yep.
So I'm not training anymore 2 years after shoulder surgery, and my hormone levels are like literally non-existent. So I had the Dutch test, so we won't need to go into that today, but
Sure.
had the test done, and it was like literally like single digits testosterone. And people are like, how can that be possible? You're super muscular, right? Like,
Right.
no, 0 testosterone, no progesterone whatsoever. So disrupted periods,
Right.
like uterine fibroids, can't figure out what's going on. So but the point of that and me sharing it is that that's a deep, shitty place to have to dig yourself out of.
Right. It's a
And,
big hole.
like, nobody wants to go there.
No.
Right?
It's hard work getting out of there. And I commend
And it
you for
takes
getting out of it.
And I'm still not there, right? Like, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I ever have been in my life, right? My body fat went from like 13, now I'm probably upwards of like 27, right? Like, that's hard, like,
Yeah.
like mentally for me.
Right.
Like, it's a bad place to be.
Right.
So that was a major point behind like my passion in this subject, because if we can get people to just start thinking properly about just the basics of nutrition, right? Like, you and I just dug into some kind of deep rabbit holes,
Yep.
right? But if we were going to go, okay, so for me, right, they don't have access right now to you or your practice, right?
Sure.
Okay, so where do we start them, right? My advice has always been, and I kind of taglined this, and it's my new cookbook that's coming out next month, colors, not calories.
Yes.
Because if we're going to try to improve people's gut health, right, and their hormone balance, they have to be getting the right nutrients.
Right. And most
That's 101, right? It's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
If we start there.
Exactly. And so if we get into even diet, like there are people, everybody wants to hop on the paleo or the keto or this or that. But I don't think a lot of people realize that I'm going to pick on keto.
Yeah,
Keto's
please
great.
do.
Keto's great for some, but there's actually testing that can be done to find out whether or not your body can actually process and handle that level of fat. Right? It's a test called an apolipoprotein E. It's your ApoE status. And you can have a genetic issue with handling that level of fat. For instance, I had a woman come in, very, very brilliant woman. She was like a vice principal at a very prestigious school in St. Louis. She's super smart. She's fit, and she was just wanting to do something a little different. She wanted to take everything up a notch, so she started a keto diet. And it didn't take very long. And all of a sudden, her hair was falling out in clumps. She felt like she was passing out. She was having all these things. We ran some blood work on her. Her fasting blood glucose, her blood sugar level was 32. Needs to be 85 if you don't know. It was 32. Like, the lab called us.
Wow.
Like, the Quest does not call me very often.
Right.
They call me when cholesterol is like 3,000, because I've seen that. And they call me when blood sugar is 30.
Right.
And so we called her immediately without even having all the rest of her labs and said, hey, you need to start eating some carbs. That keto diet is not the right thing for you. And then we finally got all this stuff back, and I showed her genetically, this is not the right diet for you. And in the time that we called her versus when we actually got her results and I sat down to talk to her in depth about everything, she was like, I'm feeling so much better. She's already noticing change just by changing her diet. Well, only 2/3 of the population, well, 65-ish%, so 2/3-ish, are actually able to process fat at that level.
Got it.
And then even those people, most of them don't like eating that much fat.
No.
It's just hard.
It is hard. And, you know, like, I don't even get me started on the keto deal. Like, I'm not some dogmatic diet basher, but I just know that in practice, most of those very dogmatic, strict ways of eating don't apply to the masses.
No, they
right?
don't. But they
And-
can be very helpful in certain situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they can also be extremely detrimental.
Yeah. And eating carbohydrates, restricting your carbohydrates to that level, right?
Makes it hard.
It's very hard. And it's not sustainable, right?
Not for decades.
Right. And for the majority of the people, then what happens, we go back to what we just talked about, right? They lose weight, but then as soon as they start eating those carbs again, fall back off the weight. And because they haven't really learned what it means to eat for optimal health and
Right.
wellness, they focus on the scale. Well, I lost 25 pounds.
Right.
I'm like, great, but you have any idea like how nutrient deprived your body is?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then they get the nutrient deprivation. I mean, minerals are extremely hard to absorb.
Right.
And so many people are deficient in minerals, and they don't even realize how deficient they are. And minerals are needed as cofactors in all these enzyme reactions that take place in the body. And then once you start putting some minerals back into some people, I mean, when we get minerals from green leafies and colored vegetables and all these things,
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Well, where do we get them?
that's where you get them,
Okay.
right? And you get them from organic foods, because conventionally grown food, I don't know that the general population understands that really the only fertilizer that goes back into a conventionally grown food is NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
Got it.
That's it. That's all they're putting back on there. Well, what about the magnesium? What about the chromium? What about the selenium? What about the manganese? What about the copper? What about all these other things?
That they've killed.
Yeah, it's just
through-
not there
Got
through
it.
farming
Got
practices.
it. Right.
Right? And so even in organic soil, you've got to be composted. There's things that we're not going to get into organic
Yeah.
farming, but that's where we need to be. And we could shift this whole food supply if we just changed what we purchased. Right? People.
Well, and you and I need to record another session on that.
True,
Right? Because
true.
that really, I mean, I'm here just to educate people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like not really in the fitness and nutrition business. I'm kind of the anti-fitness and nutrition business.
Right.
Because I'm just here to be able to educate people so that we can start undoing the really twisted mindset that we have about what it really takes to be healthy.
So I have a.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
So how do you help people who have this mindset that they need to restrict calories, and then you tell them actually to lose weight, you need to eat more calories?
That's hard. Well, so now that I'm just online, right?
Sure.
I just do it through a sense of education. People,
Sure.
that's really how I can do it, because I'm not sitting in a room with them
Right.
where they can get a sense of my energy and my passion and my compassion for them and realize like nothing I tell you would be to further harm you, right? So it all just started with trust, right?
Sure.
In person, right? So now I just do that through educating people, right? Like, I want you to try this, and I want you to do what I say, and I want you to eat the meal plans and the recipes that I give you, and it always starts with breakfast, because my personal belief is like, if I can get someone eating the right things to start their day, right, the whole rest of the day is going to be so much easier to keep on track,
Right.
because you feel good in the morning,
Right.
So I get women to like, stop skipping breakfast, please, right? Eat a little bit, stop dumping coffee on an empty gut, right? If we're trying to improve gut health. And we start with breakfast, and I'm like, that's all I want you to do, right? Like, we're not trying to change your world overnight.
Right.
So we're going to eat a little more, but I'm not just going to send you home with, now I want you to eat 800 more calories than you ever have before.
Right.
You're going to be like, holy shit, no, I'm not going to do that. You're going to make me fat.
Right, and then they feel all bloated because they're eating the wrong foods. And they
Correct.
don't know it, and it's a worse situation for them.
Correct. So we always just start with breakfast,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, let's just take it slow. When you feel good and reap the benefits off of eating a nutrient-dense breakfast,
Right.
then we're going to start going like, okay, now let's figure out what that looks like for lunch,
Right.
and then let's figure out what it looks like for dinner.
Right, and getting them to eat more protein. Yeah. You're not eating enough protein.
Oh, I can tell you that. Most gals, when we would first have them come in and food log, they're like, no, I eat quite a bit of protein. And I'm not kidding you, it would be as low as like maybe 30 grams a day. Right? They're like, well, I'm getting all of it from quinoa, and I was like, no. Right?
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
So let me ask you this. If you could give people 3 things to do up front on the nutrition side,
Okay.
what would it be to focus on?
As
Or
far
it could be more than that, right? But I just, I want people to listen to this and then be able to step away and go, okay, like right now, when this is done playing, I can actually implement this.
Sure. I like the eating breakfast. It's kind of, I will combine it into one,
Okay.
since we're just doing 3. I like the eating breakfast, but it also needs to, I think we can couple eating more protein.
Right.
It's a slow process. If you're only eating 30 grams of protein and you need to be eating 100 grams of protein, you can't start tomorrow eating 100 grams of protein. You're
Oh,
going
you're
to
gonna feel
feel
like shit.
terrible. Yeah, you got to work slowly into that, adding a few grams a week to get yourself built up to that 100. This isn't a we've got to do it tomorrow type of thing. You could take 6 months to get from 30 grams to 100 grams of protein a day. I think that's a key piece. I think another key piece, we'll step away from food that you eat and other things that you can do. I think exercising right for your body is important. Most people think they're doing the right things, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Right? If you're doing stuff and you're not getting the results that you're after, maybe you're just doing the wrong stuff.
Correct.
Right? So maybe if you're walking a lot, you need to add a little more strength training. Maybe if you're strength training, you need to add a little more walking or cycling, or maybe you need to, not necessarily jump all the way into a CrossFit, but, some sort of boot camp. I mean, there are online programs that you can do that.
Mine, right?
Yes.
Like Move. That's why I created
Move. That's
right?
exactly what it's for. Just to get people a little shift in what they're doing and to mix it up a little bit.
Let me just interject there.
Yeah.
Like, that was why I created, obviously, EML, Eat, Move, Live.
Right.
We got to fix nutrition, but I also have to teach people how to move.
Right.
Because my first question to anybody is, well, why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I want everyone to be able to, I don't even care if you have a personal trainer, I want you to be able to go in there, because any personal trainer worth anything is going to be able to tell you why you're doing it.
Right.
And if it's to burn calories, that might need to be a red flag about like what we just talked about. It's not
Right.
about energy expenditure, right?
Yep, that's right.
Right. So you could be doing completely the wrong type of exercise for your body. Love that one. Just
That's
had to
right.
interject that there.
And then a third thing, I think, and it's been a big deal, like on the news, the Today Show has talked about it multiple times already this year, and that's resting the mind, mindfulness, just taking a step back from the pace at which we go. Most of us are going way too fast, doing way too many things, trying way too hard. For a select few, that's what drives us, right? But for the masses, it's really not. We figured out, okay, you and I figured out, I can go hard and then take 10 minutes, and we've got that scheduled into our day.
Right.
Most people don't have that scheduled into their day. So scheduling that time into the day is huge. We always have money for things that we want to buy. We always have time for things we want to do. You just said that question, what's the why? Why are you doing this? Your why has to be big enough that you make it a priority.
Got it.
That's huge. Those are the big 3. After that, then it gets into going back into nutrition, making sure that you have enough vitamins, minerals, proteins, things like that into your stuff. Most people aren't taking enough vitamins and minerals in a day. They don't realize what the load is. Like I've used vitamin C as an example. Humans, we don't make vitamin C. There's 4 enzymes that are necessary to make vitamin C, and we're missing one of them. We're missing this enzyme called GULO, G-U-L-O. And it's not important to give you the full name of it. But what is interesting is when scientists watch these enzymes and we stress people, these other 3 enzymes kick up and they run faster, like the body was trying to make vitamin C. So if you take a goat or a dog or a cat, they make their own vitamin C. That's why their urine smells the way it does.
Oh.
If you stress a dog, their urine will smell way stronger. It's because they made all this extra vitamin C. A goat is comparable to a human because goats can be about 100, 150 pounds. So you're talking close to humans.
Okay.
You stress a goat and they'll make several thousand milligrams of vitamin C, upwards of 100,000 milligrams of vitamin C when you stress them. Well, the recommended daily allowance for humans for vitamin C is 100 milligrams. You really think 100 milligrams is enough? And let's
wow.
just
That's something I
take,
completely had no idea about. That's fascinating.
right. Let's just take it one step further. Let's say that 100 milligrams is enough. It's not, but let's say 100 milligrams is enough. You get 100 milligrams of vitamin C from a medium to medium large-ish orange. How many times this last year, just 2019 alone, did you eat an orange in a day?
Never.
Most people 5.
Oh my God.
5 oranges a day is about what people consume. You don't get credit for orange juice because that's been processed out and the vitamin C was added back in.
Right.
That's a different thing,
Yeah.
right? So we're not getting credit for that. So, okay, you had 5 last year. So you had 5 days that you got enough vitamin C. Your immune system is absolutely dependent on vitamin C. It's also dependent on zinc and selenium, among other things, right? We're just depleted in this stuff. We don't get enough. The Linus Pauling is the grandfather of vitamin C. He's the only guy that's won 2 Nobel Prizes in different fields. This guy has an institute, well, he's passed away now, but he has the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University. They actually have figured out that humans need basically 3,500 milligrams, somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500. It varies depending on size. It's not one size fits all, per day of vitamin C. No one gets that.
Oh, Jesus. Like,
No one gets that. That's what's needed for optimal health. We all want to optimize our health, and we want to be optimal, and we want to think optimal, and we want to look optimal, and we want to live optimal. But we don't get
not
all of the
doing it.
things that are necessary to be optimal, right? Vitamin D, the recommended daily allowance, is minuscule in comparison to what your body actually needs.
so do you recommend people that end up supplementing it?
Yes.
Or supplementing it?
Most of the time,
Because
you're going to have to
simply can't get
supplement.
it.
You're
from-
not going to be able to get it from
the
diet. You got to try. You got to do the best you can from diet.
to get everything you can naturally, right?
Exactly.
And then you've got to supplement.
And that's
on.
what supplements are for.
Right.
To supplement the diet.
Right. Yeah. So, and I have a take on that because in my practice, I could just see so often that people wanted to come in the door first focusing on supplementation, where I would say, well, we'll get there, and I can refer you out to the right people to do that. I don't know enough about that, right? Like, I stay in my lane.
Fair enough.
Like, right? Fair enough. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna teach you how to eat all this really freaking nutrient dense, awesome, colorful,
Right.
flavorful, nature provided,
Right.
food, right? And then once we do that and we get it in place, then I'm going to send you somewhere, like to someone like you, that's
Sure.
going to be like, okay, now let's really test it. But so many people, unfortunately, just want to jump to that,
Right.
right? Like, well, should I be taking a vitamin D supplement? I'm like, I don't know how many times a week to eat McDonald's. How about we just cut McDonald's out first, right?
Right.
It's like, we don't need to start here when we
Right.
don't even have the basics.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm there for, right? Like, I'm just like here to teach people, like, let's just start with the basics and then partner up with awesome people like you that
Yep.
are much more knowledgeable, that can actually take people to that next level, but not start people at the next level, start them.
Got to have a foundation.
You gotta walk before you can run, folks. Like,
the-
you gotta get food in place first.
The pyramid is designed the way it is. The foundation is the biggest part of it. The pyramid is not inverted for a reason.
Right.
Right? It's this way. We got to build that foundation. We've got to be eating right. We've got to be working out. We've got to have our mind right. Then we can build on that. Then we can fine tune.
Love it.
That's right.
Man, I can't wait to watch this back and take notes on all the different areas.
It's gonna be fun.
Because, yeah, it is. Because now we have so many more episodes that we need to record.
Right.
Love it. Okay. So if people did want to reach out to you, though, I want
Sure.
to give them an opportunity, like where to find you.
Yeah, so you can find me, my office website is inhstl.com. Social media for my office is all at inhstl. My personal socials is all at drtj williams.
Perfect. Okay. And you can find him through any of my social media pages as well.
You can find me.
Awesome.
I'm out there. I'm
Love
not
it.
hiding.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for providing a little truth today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I
Super
love it.
exciting.
Super fun.
We've got this
And
beautiful
we're in Whistler, folks, like for the Arate Syndicate event.
Arate Syndicate.
Phenomenal. There you go.
Yep.
So glad we met.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Awesome.
much for your time.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Be sure to head on over to my website, evfats.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I know you already follow me on social media and on YouTube, but without that newsletter, I promise you're missing out on some valuable information.
We don't share your name, we won't spam you, but once a week you're going to receive a newsletter from me that has all sorts of valuable truths, educational materials, a little inspiration, and then always a free recipe. So don't miss out. evfats.com. Head over there and sign up.